Good morning. Thank you, Ruby, and good morning, everybody. It's not really camping in the camping sense. Uh, I have been immersed in a family visit from my Israeli family. My son and daughter-in-law and two grandsons have been here, and we have prepared to go on a mountain trek into the wilderness of the Sierra Nevada. I'm a longtime backpacker, and I find in the wilderness that connection, that deep connection to the divine that sustains me. And I wanted to bring my grandsons to that experience, and particularly in the Sierra Nevada, where the mountains are so friendly and so beautiful. But it was both inspiring and alarming. We trekked in. Total trek was about 30 miles, carrying everything on our backs, and as backpackers do. Uh, and as we hiked in the trail, this particular trail, uh, it was moving through forest that had been charred and burned by fires of the past, and many trees were felled, and the forest floor was covered with dead branches and debris. The trail wound through some beautiful gardens and wildflowers and water flowing and so forth. Uh, and at a particular point of this trek, there was there's a split in the trail where one trail went up into the high country and another trail went to a hot springs area, Ivabel Hot Springs, and we went to the hot springs, and that was great. And then we went to find the trail to this other high region, and the forest floor was so covered with dead branches and fallen trees and debris from years of forest fire and drought and the trees dying that the trail was impassable. We could not find it. And so my 16-year-old grandson and I, he's very strong and stout, and I'm old and getting more and more unable to do this kind of thing, but I was game for it. Uh, we tried to find the trail, and it was a little bit like a nightmare, trying to find the way through the thicket of dead branches, where sometimes the branches were so dry and so thick beneath the feet that every step you took was a crackling of broken branches and dead boughs and charred remains of a forest that once stood so proud and beautiful. We could not find the trail. It was impassable. It was even impassable without a backpack. But with a backpack, it was totally impassable. And we traversed this area. I was convinced and determined that we could find a way through this and find the trail. And at one point, while my grandson and I were doing this, we suddenly came face to face with a beautiful young buck of a gorgeous amber coat, standing tall. It must have been 400 or 500 pounds. And from the top of his head were his young antlers reaching up maybe 2 feet into the air. And you could tell by the end of the summer, those antlers would grow to be full. And this was a young creature just blossoming into the fullness of his life. And we stood locked in a stare with this young buck for about a full minute before he turned away and very lithely and agilely moved through the thicket of the forest. And I thought, what is the future for this beautiful young creature in this world where we have allowed ourselves to uh, be enfolded in our greed and in our hubris and in our arrogance where we have allowed this forest, this beautiful nature that supports us, to be so decimated and so disturbed and so destroyed. And yet through the forest floor, there came the young saplings, the young growth, the earth regenerating itself. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young plants and gardens of flowers, wildflowers, just blooming as if to say, stop, stop this craziness, stop this madness that we are propelled ourselves on as a human family. We have the power to change things. We have the power to realize our divine source. We have the power to see the love and the light and the grace that we have been blessed with. And always visiting the mountains, I always felt that. But this time it was mixed with the sadness and this despair, in a way, that the forest was so destroyed that we could not find the path through it. And humanity is in that struggle now to find the path through the thicket of our dense mistakes, misdirection. So conclude with that thought, and with the thought of what is our human destiny. Is our human destiny to be buried and lost beneath the debris of our hubris, of our arrogance, unable to find our way through the thickets of our own demise? Or can we rise above that? Can we reach deep within ourselves and work as activists to change the course and build a new path through the density of our own misadventure?